the favorite sneakers, the Kim Jones' favorite sneakers are Air Jordan 1 by Fragment, and I don't know how many pairs he owns, and he wore them in a lot of LV shows, and before he collaborated with Hiroshi Fujiwara and Fragment for LV. So I think it's something related to the artistic director, to Kim Jones, and I think that it's a pair of sneakers. It's so important for him that maybe he wanted to try to give his twist and his firm's twist to the sneakers. Then I know that maybe and I think that Jordan Brand, as David was saying, is the second most famous and the second biggest brand in the world for sneakers behind Nike. So I think that Jordan Brand is something else. Isn't Michael Jordan anymore? Isn't sportswear anymore? Is something really bigger than that. And so Dior, that is a big and a historic fashion brand, a historic luxury brand, wanted to mix with a big sportswear brand, as big as Dior is for the luxury world. I think that's all. And I can understand that somebody could be salty for that, but I don't think on around the world, I read something like Dior one is the worst sneakers of the year. Come on, Chen. I don't think I don't think it is possible, to be honest. How could it be the worst sneaker of 2020? It's impossible. Maybe it could be the most overrated, but I don't think so too. And I don't know. I could understand the points, but I think that it's a great pair of sneaker, and that's all. Maybe we can't afford it. For sure, we can't afford it. But I think it's a really great pair.
I think to touch on what Dave said, as far as the give and take, as far as the what did we get from them, like we got the Travis one and then we got the Mocha. I guess the easy answer is we got that racer blue Jordan 1 Zoom that was not really all that great, I don't think, but now they sell for $600 because, people want the shoe because they didn't get the Dior. People kind of want that replacement, that thing that's comparable. So I guess that's kind of the easy answer to that question. But I also think about it in terms of, like, we all have grails. Like, we all have these things, these sneakers that we want that we know, like, leading up to the release, we're not going to get it, like, for retail. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to get, even if you look at Virgil and Off-White, none of us were getting a Chicago 1 at retail, an Off-White Chicago 1. Like, that was not going to happen. Even other Off-White collabs after that, like the Off-White Jordan 4, no, not happening. The Off-White 5 at retail is also not happening. So I get the point that, like, it was kind of us that made the Jordan 1 popular, but I guess I'm having a hard time seeing the difference between, oh, this is a $2,000 Dior shoe that's not obtainable. I don't see the difference between that and, like, oh, a Ronnie Fieg Gel Light 3 Salmon Toe 1.0, for some of us, Josh, is not obtainable. Like, it's just way too much money. It's already,
Just don't buy 2 or 3. Just don't buy the next 2 or 3 releases. You got it. You're good.
Yeah, you see, and that's what I mean. Like, if people, like, really want to go in and get this shoe, I mean, it's kind of up to them what they want to do with it. I don't really see the difference between the Dior Jordan 1 as a grail and other shoes that are just straight up unicorns that we'll never find again. And, you know, kind of like mine, the chlorophyll Tech Challenge 2, like they only sold that at Wimbledon. And it was one of the best shoes of that year, but I'm not going to be angry at Nike for only putting that out at Wimbledon, knowing that I wasn't fucking going to Wimbledon. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't really know the difference between the Dior 1 as a grail and all the other grails that we have that are not really attainable.
But I feel like that's different. Like, I feel like those are different levels, right? So like accessibility in terms of, like, I can go get an Air Jordan 1 Dior High right now. I just don't have 13 grand, right? Like, you literally cannot find the shoe that you want, right? And I think that's like being limited and unobtainable because of, you know, time and location and just, you know, the fact that, you know, history has probably destroyed most of those shoes, you know, because people have worn them and not really cared and not known. I think it's very different. And so, like, for me, I'm, you know, and I'm okay with not getting the Dior 1. Like, it's not a grail for me. It's really like, it's a great Jordan 1, but it's not a grail for me. I'm always like, I just think about like the accessibility, right? Like the Travis 1, like it wasn't, I knew I wasn't going to get the shoe, but there was an accessibility issue with that, right? Like it wasn't price. It wasn't like they made that shoe and didn't think about the consumer, right? Like, I think there was a thought behind the Dior 1 consumer, but at the same time, for someone like me who wears Jordan 1s, who has like 10 Jordan 1s, you know, a $2,000 Jordan 1 is not wearable. Like, I can't justify wearing a $2,000 shoe. And so I guess another question that sort of comes up is like, okay, like a $2,000 retail shoe that's handmade in Italy, does it function as like a wearable shoe, or is it solely like, you know, a work of art like that you put on a shelf? Like what does that say about the culture? Like, you know, that there's a shoe that's $2,000 retail and like people are expected to wear it. Like, I can't, like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't justify it.
They wanted it to be like a bag, right? In the craftsmanship and the construction. But it's like, when you put that on your feet, it doesn't wear like a bag. You're stepping on shit and like creasing it, and you can't wear it like without wrecking it. And so that's for someone who's comfortable doing that. And now they're like an 8 to 10 grand plus shoe. Like, yeah, how do you wear that? I have a hard time wearing grails that I bought where I'm like, what if I scuff this? What if I want to sell it one day? What if I want my money back for it? Like, every time I wear it, it's worth like $50 less. It's like a little nerve-wracking. So I mean, you spend a lot of money on something like a salmon toe, but it's still $120 shoe probably. Like at retail, it probably wasn't much. But I had this interesting thought. Like, at least if you're chasing a Dior as your grail, you get it in hand and you're going to be impressed no matter what. It's not just standard nubuck and mesh and, you know, suede that's maybe even fake suede on some grails that we have, right? Even Jordan grails, even, I don't know, the Travis Scott, it's probably nice, but the materials aren't worth $1,000. I don't know how much those go for now. They're probably $1,000. At least if you landed a Dior 1 in your hands, you'd look at it and you'd say, you know, this is definitely like a step above as far as quality. Most Asics grails are still just $120 shoe at the heart of it, right? You're paying for the colors maybe, but and what it means, obviously.
I think that we complain about quality checks on the Adoras for 200.
Did you see the upside down Raekwon logo? Someone got a pair with that logo totally upside down. That cracked me up.
What happens when somebody finds a flaw in a $2,000 pair of shoes? You know, I can understand the point, but still, I can say that yes, for a luxury brand for a pair of sneakers, $2,000 is a really, really, really high price. I think that usually you don't pay a pair of sneakers in a luxury store that price. But I think that there you are paying the collaboration, then you are paying, of course, the hype, and I think they could have priced more too, and I think they would have been sold out as well. So I can understand the point, but I think that when I'm talking about the best sneakers of the year, I'm talking about as I was telling before, I'm talking about the shoes themselves, just that. Then there are some others, some other features like the release weight, the price point, and the materials and everything. But I think that again, if we are talking about the shoes, we can't say they aren't at a minimum top 20 shoes of 2020, in my opinion. And I think yes, you can't like them because you don't like a gray Air Jordan, but I think you can't say I don't like because the community, the Air Jordan community, can't afford them. I think they are two different things. They are two different fields, two different aspects.
So where?
Yeah, I think as far as like if you're gonna wear like it's I over the last couple of years I kind of just stopped judging people on what they spend their money on. You know, people are out here spending $800 for a Charizard Pokemon card, like that they're gonna, you know what I mean? So I mean, it really just depends on what people covet. You know, just because it's $2,000 at retail, just because someone wants to, even someone like us who are just like fixated on this Dior one, and they're just like, you know what? I'm saving every single penny of like as far as much as I can over the next couple of years, and I'm buying this Dior Jordan 1 because I want to wear it. Like it's more up to them rather than, oh, this is a $2,000 shoe. Like I could possibly wear this. Like, we scoff at, people who spend $400, $500, $600 on shoes, but like, if it's what they covet, it's what they're going to do. People have cars that they paid six figures for that just sit in their garage. So it's like, I think it's the onus is more on them, whether or not they want to wear it. I mean, if I had it, maybe I'd wear it, but like, I don't have like luxury brand stuff. So it's like, I'll wear a Dior 1 with a Mets hat and a white tee from Target and like some Levi jeans, like, because that's just what, I have, and that's what I would wear with this one shoe that just so happens to be expensive. Like, I think that goes back to what Francesco said. I mean, it has nothing to do with, I don't think it really has to do with the price point. If they're nice, you wear it. If you don't wear it, that's up to you.
So where does it?
I think putting it on like a top list of the year, a year-end list, I think the interesting thing about that is, as a shoe, if you just judge, say, like you pick 100 shoes and you narrow it down to say the 10 nicest looking ones, it might make that top 10 for you. I think that's probably fair and that's probably correct. But I think in terms of how they release this or who it's accessible for me, it's not going to make my top 10 list. It's not going to make, sneaker of the year for me because it's not for me. It's not attainable. And especially at resale, but even just at retail, it's not a sneaker for a person like me. So I think you're right. I'm not looking at the list of Dior shoes. They sell a whole bunch of shoes. Some look like Chuck Taylors, like you said, with the Dior, print on it. They look cool, but I'm not ranking those in my top sneakers. I think this exists kind of outside of this realm. I think it's, it's the same things Francesco was saying. The reason it's for him, if it is your top sneaker of the year, it's almost like the same reason why I just exclude it from the list completely. I think as far as quality, craftsmanship, materials, it's probably phenomenal. It looks nice. It's a nice gray. It's a simple shoe, but it's excluded for me just because of It's not for me. It's not for someone like me.
Where do you rank it, Ricco?
I can't buy a Ferrari. I can't buy a Ferrari, but I say that it's a great car. That's what I mean. And I prefer a high initial price point than a high resale price that I can't pay as well because available, but I could have afforded them at the initial price. So I prefer that kind of price that I can't afford them since the start, like I don't know, the Air Force One by Keith Friends and Family. I can't afford them because, of course, just resale price. Then some prices like I don't know, Ben and Jerry Dunks, for example. I didn't like them, but for example, no, for instance, more than $1,000 resale price for a shoes for a pair of shoes worth how much? I don't know, the
130.
100, 130.
Yeah.
I think that's crazier than $2,000 Dior, Air Dior.
I couldn't agree more. I think that's an outstanding point. I have way less of an issue, like you said, Francesco, with a $2,000 retail shoe reselling for however much it's going to than a $100 SB Dunk that's going to resell for $1,500-$1,600. Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't justify that, especially given the quality and the craftsmanship and the detail that goes into something like a Jordan, like the Dior Jordan 1. For me, I mean, I think it is sort of in my top 10. I'd have it at like 10 just because I think the quality is just immaculate. I think the color is immaculate. I'm a simple guy. Like I love simple silhouettes and I love simple colorways, and things that I can wear with everything, which I think this you could. So for that, and then, obviously Dior, I do think they're a great brand. And I think, they are going to do something that other brands and other collaborators aren't going to do, which is make sure that the product meets a very high standard of quality. So you're not going to get a backward tongue label. So like, for me, that puts them at 10. Because it matters, because they matter as a shoe of the year, right? But in terms of like what Josh said, I'm just not looking at them, and they're not looking at me, and that's a shame. Like I feel kind of disillusioned by that, right? Because I'm a big Jordan 1 fan. I think I do have a sort of sense of entitlement. I think in terms of like being able to access Jordan 1 pairs. And I think brands already do a horrible job of that. So, I don't like the idea of them escalating that purposefully. So I'd put like a Mocha 1 ahead of them, or and I'd probably put like that Zoom Crater Jordan 1 above them. The one with the recycled sole or whatever, because I think from my perspective, it's a more important shoe. Like it's more important in terms of like what it's for and why it was made. And that has more of a connection with Jordan Brand and their fans, because it's something from Jordan Brand that's saying, our message to you is we want to do more sustainable things. We want to do more. We want to move the sneaker culture in a better direction, right? Whereas the Dior one says, I want rich people to buy my stuff, not you. So I feel like, I put it ahead of it. I put that shoe ahead of it, just in terms of like my top 10 Jordan 1s. And I don't know if I'd put it in my all-time list. I have to really think about it.
I think that's a matter of target. A matter of target you want to hit. I think that if you want to target the, as you said, the all rich people, you buy a Dior one, an Air Dior. If you want to target common people with an environmental project, corporate social responsibility, etc., you buy the other one. But for example, have you ever seen the player editions Jordan ones? I think the leather they use on those ones are way better than the normal ones, but they aren't available for the public, but they are available for reselling, and they're available for $5,000, the same price of Air Dior. And I can't understand why they don't use that kind of leather. There is a page on Instagram, I think it's called English Souls, and it has all the Jordan 1's players editions, all big size, so all my size, and it's they have all the nicest colors of universities, and they resell it for 5,000, 6,000, so the same. And maybe Jordan could use that kind of leather for some releases, but don't do it. That's an example, and I'm more salty for that one than for the Dior.
If we want to touch on, is this a trend that should continue? And I was thinking about my own collection, and I'm not like going to chase after too many Jordans anyway. But if an ASICS collab came out or a Dior collab with a high-end brand, at what point would I be likely to buy that? I think if it sort of went this route and it ended up being $2,000 for a Gel Lyte 3, it wouldn't interest me. I think when they do release Made in Japan edition, I do like that. I like knowing that it's going to be a little better quality. Something like Super Green, I think they retail about $250, which is a bit higher than a normal Gel Lyte 3. But when you see them, the quality is quite a bit nicer. I think I'd be more likely to hit that price point. I don't know if I would buy something collab with like a high-end brand. But I do like seeing made in Italy. I do like seeing those things versus made in question mark with what kind of conditions we don't really know. That's another issue altogether. But I like that direction. I think I'm not drawn to too many high-end brands personally. But I do work in the jewelry world, so I do like seeing when that craftsmanship hits another level. I see some high-end stuff, and when I do Cartier or Van Cleef, I like seeing that craftsmanship on that. The attention to detail is so much higher. So it's exciting. So if there was sort of a meeting point in the middle that wasn't quite the Air Dior, but still, well made, ethically made, things like that, I'd love to see more of that in with other brands too. ASICS, Dior, even Nike.
Yeah, I think the difference is if a Gel Lyte 3, Dior or Louis Vuitton or something like that were to come out, it would not sell. See, that's something that would probably be accessible because, things like Gel Lyte 3s, like it's only like us in the runner group that like still really look for those. You know what I mean? Like I bought like 6 or 7 like older pairs last year. So I think if it were something like that and retailed for maybe not 2,000, but like some like 1,500, like 1,200, would, I guess, Dave, it would be the question for you, like would we gravitate more toward that? Would you have less of an issue with that because not everybody's going to lose their mind over a luxury brand Gel Lyte 3 or another runner kind of in that vein?
New Balance even.
Mm.
So I am cheap, but like I would say no, right? I would say no. And so like and hear me out, because like with the Gel Lyte 3, like we have high-end versions of it, right? Like technically, like So Comme des Garçons, they did a Gel Light 3 this year, right? Or last year. And that was $300 and it's sitting on shelves, right? And that's the market. That's not me, that's the market, right? So people aren't buying it. And so, you have the Comme des Garçons fans that aren't buying it, and then you also have the fans that are Gel Light 3 fans or the ASICS fans that aren't buying it. So but there are made in Japan stuff. Like, last year they had the Kobe beef made in Japan, Gel Light 3. And, that was what, 240, 260 when it came out. And, like, I personally
they sat a bit too.
What?
They sat a bit too, I think. Like there were some sales.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I bought mine.
That's maybe the nature of the ASIC.
Yeah, and I bought mine for half price. Like, you know what I mean? So like I know, so like the market for that isn't there, I would say, and New Balance has stuff that's like that too, I think, where it's like high end. I don't know, like their Horween leather stuff. I mean, that always sits too, though, right? Like it doesn't sell out. They did that pair last year with, who was it? It wasn't Timberland. It was somebody. Red Wings, the Red Wings 997.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Those are super expensive, right? And it wasn't. And Red Wings isn't like a high quality brand. What?
The Horween leather made too.
Yeah. And they were expensive. And
Yeah.
I don't think they sold out right away, right? Like they weren't. I feel
they sit for a while, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think. I feel like it's hard to go to another brand and do like the high end collaboration and think that they're gonna sell out. I think that if you're into runners, like a lot of like all of us are, it's just not like we're not doing that. Like we're not going to do that. We're going to go, nope, I'm not buying it. And other people are going to be like, nope, I'm not buying it either. And they're like, we'll be like, we like it. And once it goes on sale, we'll buy it, like, but I don't think that happens with like Jordan 1s. Like, I think Nike has such, like Josh said, like a marketing, beast behind everything that like, we're just, that everything is just going to go, like, no matter what. That thing they could have been $5,000 and they would have sold out. Like, we know that, right? So like, it might be like different.
Yes, ASICS has a different aura than Nike, of course, and that's the matter. So it is Red Wing. Red Wing isn't Dior, of course, and for example, we had a made in Japan ASICS, I think for 400s since 2 years ago, maybe a blue, a pale blue,
the
dark blue.
Pair.
Yeah. And just full size. So I wasn't interested in them because I think that the biggest number was 11 too. So never had them in hand, but they hadn't the same hype then. Of course, as the same hype then of the first made in Japans, the VEG, they were the VEG 10 maybe, the first made in Japan ASICS Gel Light 3. Nobody replied that kind of hype, but I think that depends on, as I was telling before, what people want in that moment. And I think that maybe if all the shoes you mentioned would have been released in 2015, where the ASICS hype was really high, I think that maybe they would have sold out in a minute. Mm-hmm. Today, people want Air Jordan, Generation Z, all the guys born in the latest 90s or at the beginning of 2000 want Air Jordan and Dunks. They want that. They want those ones, and those ones sell out. 4 years ago, it was the Air Max 1 moment, and all Air Max 1s sold out. So I think that's just in this kind of movement, in this kind of change, fashion tries to find its way and tries to connect with what people want. That's all in my opinion.